we're gonna go ship these packages from a better impact. And we're also gonna go to Elwood Thompson to get some coffee and nuts. And we might be going to Fresca on Addison. We hear they have a great pizza. And possibly check out a thrift store. So yeah, we just shipped those packages. It's peach black tea. This brand, one, is local, which is sick. Brewed right here in Virginia. And this kombucha doesn't taste like kombucha. It tastes really good. So if you're here in Richmond, this is the one I recommend. This one's actually local too. This is what Cassidy got, Ninja Kombucha. It's brewed in Brooklyn Park. We just left Clothes Rack, and the reason we keep hitting up a lot of these thrift stores is because I want to sell t-shirts, and I'm getting them printed locally by a friend here. So I got a bunch of t-shirts at Clothes Rack, which is a great find, and we also got a box of cards and envelopes for just $1 to ship our A Better Impact stickers. Thrift stores are a great way to find things that you need for without having to buy new. We're at Fresca on Addison. It's a all-vegetarian restaurant. We ordered a vegan pizza, and we plan on composting the box because you can usually compost pizza boxes. So as you may be able to tell, we live in an apartment, but we still do composting. And composting is something that everyone can do in almost any living situation. So even though we don't have land or a backyard, we still compost here in the apartment with a compost bin that I'm sitting on right now. A lot of things that people throw away is actually compostable. If you're not composting your compostable products or your food scraps or cardboard, you're not really helping the environment. Because if you throw something out that's compostable into a plastic bag and then into a landfill, it's not getting composted. It's just locked away in a plastic bag for a very long time. So this is what we use in our home. It's just a plastic like storage tote, and all we did was drill holes along the perimeter here so that the worms can breathe. Now, I guess we didn't mention, but we do vermicomposting. That's composting through the method of using earthworms to break down food scraps and browns and compostable products. It smells like earth, so there is a smell, but it's not like putrid or rotting, or it doesn't smell bad. It just smells like earth or dirt. We've never had an issue with pests. Roaches, rats, snakes, mice, nothing of the sort. I think if I have to say there is a pest, maybe fruit flies, but that can be made under control very easily. And then here, we're harvesting the worm castings. So worm castings is basically worm poop, but when they eat our scraps, it turns into worm castings, a very nutrient-rich, dense fertilizer. So you know when it's ready when there's no visible food scraps, for the most part, in the castings. So once everything is basically broken down and usually devoid of worms, I mean, you'll always get leftover worms, but for the most part, there's no worms in here. Worms, much like us, don't want to be in their own poop or waste. They create these worm castings for us basically to collect. I think if you never collect it, it can kind of be harmful for your compost. So you want to, at least once in a while, kind of harvest all those worm castings and use it. So the worms will not escape. You might get an escapee every once in a while, because they kind of, a lot of the times they'll migrate to the top of your compost and even stay on the lid over here. But generally, if a couple escape, you can just kind of pick them up and throw them back in. But no, they won't leave. They generally like to stay in the bin. Before we started composting, we had actually a bit of an issue with our dog Bert going through the garbage. But now that we compost, there's nothing in the trash that he wants to go for, so he doesn't really go in the trash anymore. Even though we do home composting, we still take our compost scraps to the community compost drop-off sometimes to kind of give our worms a break every once in a while. And I don't know if you guys remember, if you saw, one vlog a couple weeks back, we mentioned how often we throw away our trash or throw out our trash. And back then we talked about how we threw it out on the 16th of June. And that still is the case. We haven't thrown out our garbage since the 16th of June. Today is, I think, July 12th, I want to say. Today's July 12th. So we've almost hit a month of not throwing away our garbage. This is all homemade dirt. See, oh, look at that. Don't forget to take your stickers out, or don't forget to take your stickers off of your fruit and vegetables. So don't want to let those get caught in your compost. These are some of the most common household things that we compost. You kind of want to crush them up a little bit. The eggshells. Check it out. Provides grit for worms, calcium. Very good for your soil, eggshells. This is also our compost bin. So all this stuff can go not in the trash. So instead of putting this in the trash and it not breaking down for hundreds of years, it can go right into your compost bin. It breaks down in a couple of weeks or months or however long it would take. When you're dumping your scraps into your compost bin, you don't want to just kind of throw it in there. You want to also bury them so that it kind of gets rid of the smell. It kind of speeds up the composting process. We're going to cover this bad boy. So when putting scraps into your home compost, you want to also add what's called browns. That's cardboard, things like newspaper, maybe dried leaves. So I'm going to rip up this pizza box and I'm going to put it in there along with our scraps. These browns, things like cardboard, can regulate moisture, absorb excess moisture. It also prevents your compost from getting really smelly. Okay, so thanks for checking out what we do here in Richmond, sustainably wise. Can't wait to see you next week.